Kremlin-backed Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov was rushed for emergency treatment in Moscow on the night of December 24th to 25th, after his condition reportedly deteriorated so sharply that doctors feared for his life. He was transported in a specialized intensive care ambulance to the elite Central Clinical Hospital of the presidential administration, underscoring how serious and sudden his medical crisis appeared to those around him. Kadyrov had flown into Moscow intending to personally attend a high-profile state council meeting chaired by Vladimir Putin, signaling that he expected to be visibly present at one of the Kremlin's key year-end political events. When the state council finally convened, the session proceeded without Kadyrov or any stand-in from Chechnya, leaving the republic conspicuously unrepresented at a forum where all other federal regions had a political voice. Sources claim doctors barely managed to stabilize and resuscitate the Chechen leader before he was discharged, with reports suggesting he was quickly sent home rather than remaining under prolonged observation in the capital. Since that emergency hospitalization, Kadyrov has vanished from public view, fueling intense speculation about whether his health is worsening and what that might mean for Chechnya's political future. Well before the Moscow scare, Kadyrov was reportedly undergoing regular treatment at a private clinic in Grozny, suggesting a longer-running and chronic health struggle rather than a single sudden incident. In one of his own live streams, he admitted to suffering what he called nervous breakdowns and a constant feeling of tension, describing a state of near-permanent psychological pressure. That unrelenting tension was reportedly tied to the fate and actions of Chechen fighters deployed in Ukraine, whose role in the war has placed both political and personal strain on the Chechen strongman. An investigation by Novaya Gazeta Europe has suggested that his worsening health is already triggering behind-the-scenes maneuvers, as Moscow quietly weighs how and when to engineer a power shift in Chechnya. Back in May, Kadyrov himself publicly stated that he had asked to be relieved of his duties as Chechnya's head, a rare admission that raised questions about succession and his long-term political endurance. As Putin's once omnipresent Chechen ally disappeared from public life, a notorious far-right anti-Kremlin commander suddenly re-emerged, shifting the battlefield narrative against Moscow at a symbolically charged moment. Ukraine's GUR military intelligence announced that Denis Kapustin, the radical leader of the Russian Volunteer Corps, is in fact alive, directly contradicting earlier Russian claims that he had been killed in combat. According to Ukrainian intelligence, Russian security services allegedly ordered his assassination and earmarked around $500,000, underscoring how valuable eliminating this figure was to Moscow. Ukrainian officials say they carried out a complex, multi-layered counterintelligence operation that not only thwarted the killing, but also flipped the plot to their advantage. GUR chief Kirilo Budanov later appeared with Kapustin on a video call, publicly congratulating him on surviving and turning the failed hit into a propaganda setback for Russia. Budanov even quipped that he was glad the funds allocated for Kapustin's assassination had instead ended up supporting Ukraine's ongoing fight, twisting the alleged bounty into a moral and material win. Earlier, Russian military channels had claimed Kapustin was killed by a drone strike on the Zaporizhia front lines, presenting his supposed death as proof of their reach and operational success. Kapustin, also known by the aliases Nikitin and White Rex, is a Moscow-born far-right nationalist who relocated to Ukraine in 2017, where he embedded himself in the militant anti-Kremlin milieu. After Russia launched its full-scale invasion in 2022, he founded the Russian Volunteer Corps, gathering like-minded fighters intent on taking the war back to Vladimir Putin's own doorstep. Since then, the Russian Volunteer Corps has fought Russian forces alongside the Ukrainian military, taking part in cross-border raids and frontline operations that embarrass the Kremlin and challenge its authority.